So this is the self-development with tactics book.
The Aged Mother by Matuso Basho is a little too long. The Doer of Good by Oscar Wilde. It is a little bit too long. The Ass and His Purchaser, I've already went through that one. The Mowers of Chess by Benjamin Franklin. A little too long. Just a little bit too long. The Chicken Who Wouldn't Eat Gravel. Well, it's a little too long, I guess. It's just a little bit too long. Then let's see Bruce and the Spider by James Baldwin. This seems to be okay. With that being said, hello and welcome back after the intro. Welcome back to the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. You know, I'm really looking forward to this episode because we are again going through another short story. A short story at this time that is actually a short story because I was actually looking for short stories. Because it seems to be the case that short stories do not always have to be that short. And often they're actually relatively long. Unfortunately. Really unfortunately. But something that I do remember, because just I haven't checked it out. I haven't checked it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing that. But I do just have to check that if I've done something. Because the problem that I'm having is that I'm not having enough space on my PC for probably this episode that I'm just recording, and it would really not be a good idea to then just basically make this episode and then just not have any space for it, because it would then be broken, I guess, and it wouldn't be such a good thing. It would not be. But yeah, if you do not have the time, you know, or if you do just like to listen to audiobooks, I would totally suggest you to go into the description and go to the podcast, because this episode that you're having here on YouTube is also available as a podcast, which means that you can just listen to it, which means that it is a really efficient way to consume this episode, you know, to just have the whole experience, but you can do something simultaneously to it, which might be learning, which might be cooking, which might be tidying up your room, so many different things. You're able to do that, and therefore I'm heavily suggesting you to also do that, just because it really is an efficient way to do so. But after the whole process of me copying something onto my HDD is ready, we're then going to start with this hopefully amazing. Oh, I actually went through it already, you know, because when it is about reading, you know, I truly have to go through it at first so that the whole reading experience is a little bit better, you know, because I'm truly not an avid reader. I actually read a lot through the podcast, you know, because of the podcast, I'm actually reading a lot, you know, also just loudly and whatever, which is good practice, you know, which is really good practice to also learn new words and learn new vocabulary, because as you might hear, I'm not a native speaker, you know, I'm not a native English or British in general, or Scottish or Irish or US-ish man. I'm actually from Austria. And I do just like English more, I guess, than I like German, to kind of really be honest. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but maybe it's just because I'm using it as a tool at this point in time, you know, to communicate with you, essentially, you know. Maybe it is just the case. But how should we be doing this? I know how I'm going to do this. We're going to do it as such, you know. We're going to do it as such. So, let me read. Bruce and the Spider by James Baldwin, or Baldwin or something. There was once a king of Scotland whose name was Robert Bruce. He had need to be both brave and wise, for the times in which he lived were wild and rude. The King of England was at war with him and had led a great army into Scotland to drive him out of the land. Battle after battle had been fought, Six times had Bruce led his brave little army against his foes, and 6 times he had his men been beaten and driven into flight. At last his army was scattered, and he was forced to hide himself in the woods and in lonely places among the mountains. One rainy day, Bruce lay on the ground under a rude shed, listening to the pattern of the drops on the roof above him. He was tired and sick at heart and ready to give up all hope. It seemed to him, and there was no use for him to try to do anything more. As he lay thinking, he saw a spider over his head, making ready to weave her web. He watched her as she toiled slowly and with great care. 6 times she tried to throw her frail thread from one beam to another, and 6 times it fell short. "Poor thing," said Bruce, "you too know what it is to fail." But the spider did not lose hope. With the 6th time, with still more care, she made ready to try for the 7th time. Bruce almost forgot his own troubles as he watched her swing herself out upon a slender line. Would she fail again? No. The thread was carried safely to the beam and fastened there. "I too will try a 7th time," cried Bruce. He arose and called his men together. He told them of his plans and sent them out with messages of cheer to his disheartened people. Soon there was an army of brave Scotchmen around him. Another battle was fought, and the King of England was glad to go back into his own country. I've heard it said that after that day, no one by the name of Bruce would ever hurt a spider. The lesson which the little creature had taught the king was never forgotten. And it is actually the case that they are saying like creature, so this you can see it, but for the podcast listeners, it is actually like cre and ja, and also messages. I don't know why. Maybe it is like an artistic way to somehow communicate something that I'm just not able to think about right now. But it could also be just something completely different. I don't know. I really don't know. This short story, short story, it might have been just a relatively obvious story. It is not something that you just really have to think about or whatnot. It just really is more of an reminder, I guess. It really is more of a reminder, and it actually got rated relatively poorly with 7.6 out of 9. Is it 9 stars? 8, 9, 10 stars. So, 9 stars wouldn't have made any sense, to be honest. And but I still think it is quite a good reminder. It is quite a good reminder for us to remember that we should try. We should try once more. And if this one fails, then try once more. And if this one fails, try once more. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try once more? Why? Is there any reason? Unless, and this is something that I've just been talking about in the episode that I've been recording just before, if you truly know, and I believe that this is actually the point of The Dip, a book by Seth Godin. It's an amazing book. And this book actually tries to answer the question when we should actually stop to do things, because at least for me, somebody that is relatively obsessed with what he's doing, it is really difficult to say when I should stop, because I guess I would never ever stop, because I'm so obsessed with what I'm doing, and I just got a habit, and I'm disciplined to do things, even though I don't want to do them any longer and whatsoever. I guess it might actually be a pretty bad thing in the end. It might actually lead me to just doing something my whole life long, in theory, that I do not want to do. Maybe. And the dip actually somehow tries to answer this question of when you should actually stop and do something else. When you should stop, take another course. When you should stop and just move on with something else. And if I remember correctly, but I'm not quite sure, but I guess it was all about seeing what is coming up. Or it is actually something that I came up with. I don't know. The thing is, if you really truly notice that with whatever you're doing, the outcomes is not going to be great. You're going to hate the outcome of whatever you're doing. The outcome might be you're going to just have not as much time for your family as you would like to have. You're having a lot of money, which might be a good outcome. And all the other outcomes, all the other possibilities, all the other factors, all the other things that could happen by doing something. If you don't like, what's going to just be afterwards, then why are you doing it? Because the thing is, to build something, whether it be just an audience, whether it be a business, whether it be something else for yourself, also just a habit or whatever, it is work. It truly is work. And there are some certain stages that I do not recall, unfortunately, which also are part of the dip. And the dip is actually also some kind of a part there. Maybe I can find some sort of a graph. This would actually be amazing. The dip. It is just truly a great book. Truly, even though it isn't rated that well, to be honest. Yeah, I've actually found something relatively interestingly. There you can see, wait, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna scroll there so that you can see. So here you can see it is basically, it is honestly a graph. And on the left side, you can see results, which is the vertical line, and the horizontal one is effort. And the thing is, results go up as effort actually goes up, and then everything's gonna dip. But you're still gonna have way more effort than in the beginning, which means in the very beginning of the graph, you're gonna have some kind of a belly. It actually looks like a ball, and then it actually dips. Then it goes down again, but you're still having this high amount of effort. And then, then there's gonna be the dip. And after the dip, the result's gonna go straight up, like it actually seems to be exponentially or something. And the effort's still gonna be just constantly growing, in theory, I guess. With time. Normally you have time on the horizontal line and I don't know, a frequency, whatever it might be, on the vertical one. But yeah, it is truly. Yeah, they say early reward for starting is high, and then there's gonna be the dip, and then pushing through results in high rewards. But the thing is, you should not push through something that you wouldn't like to happen. Like if it is something which has been talking about before, if you do not really like the outcome of something, why would you actually take the effort and push through? Why would you actually waste the energy and push through? It wouldn't make sense. So if you push through, when appropriate, it will eventually be highly rewarded. Eventually, something really important there. Really, really, truly important there. Maybe I can find a relatively short article, that I could just show you, because I do not want to. Maybe it would also be great to just see, The Dip, a little book that teaches you when to quit, is the 10th published book by Seth Godin. It is a 76-page book that illustrates the concept of the dip, a temporary setback that can be overcome with persistence, and how to recognize if you are within one worth pushing through or one where you should quit. Yeah, it is actually a self-help book, and it was published by the Penguin Group in 2007, and also by Seth Godin, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, because you're a smart dude or a smart girl. And so, I don't know, 76 pages, I guess, is pretty decent. It is pretty well to just go through it, think about it, whatever. But you could also just go through another summary, which we could also be doing right now. I have gone through a summary of the dip on the podcast as well. And, I have gone through one. I think I've actually gone through the dip as a summary by, not on this site that I just was showing, but on the SamuelThomasDavies.com website. I might be linking it down in the description if I don't forget it. I do tend to forget a lot of things. So if you're just listening to the podcast, or if you're just watching the video, and if you truly actually need this link to this certain site because you can't find it because of certain reasons, I don't know, hit me up on social media. All the links should be down in the description. I'm going to answer you as fast as I can, and it's probably not going to take a long time because this is somehow actually my second life, some sort of. The book in 3 sentences. Winners quit the right stuff at the right time. People settle for good enough instead of best in the world, and being well-rounded is not the secret to success. To be a superstar, you must do something exceptional. Not just survive the dip, but use the dip as an opportunity to create something so extraordinary that people can't help but talk about it, recommend it, and yes, choose it. The next time you catch yourself being average when you feel like quitting, realize that you have only two good choices: quit or be exceptional. And average is for losers. Yeah, in the end, it's actually going to be the case, I think. Winners understand that taking the pain now prevents a lot more pain later. The decision to quit or not is a simple evaluation. Is the pain of the dip worth the benefit of the light at the end of the tunnel? Which is basically the exact same thing that I was talking about. If you like the outcome of the whole effort that you put into something, then go through it. If it is not worth it, then don't go through it, because it wouldn't make sense. And the last part of this really short bit of the summary: quitting as a short-term strategy is a bad idea. Quitting for the long term is an excellent idea, because it frees you up to excellence at something else. It really does, because you're saving a lot of time, energy, quite everything, everything that you would be in need of. So try, look out for the dip, but try. If it is actually something that you truly want to do, just try. Try the 7th time. Try the 8th time. Try the 9th time. Try the 10th time. Just do it. Just try it, and like the process. Really love the process. If you really hate the process, you're not going to just go through it. You're not going to be able to push through it. It is actually the 3rd episode that I'm recording today. The 2nd in a row. The first one I was, doing before I was actually working out. And it is work. It is work, but I truly like what I'm doing, and I still also have to do some other things. I'm still attending school. I'm actually in quite near my A levels. There's going to be just some work coming up, and I do really hope that I'm going to manage everything. I really truly hope. And by the way, this episode's I think going to be scheduled when I'm in Amsterdam. So check out my social media. There's probably going to be some stories. Quite a lot of stories. I tend to do this, to do them. I like them. They're great. They're amazing. I love them. But yeah, let's actually, to finish up with this episode, let's actually go through another Quora question, because this is something that I do, going through Quora question. If you're having, also a question that I should be answering, please hit me up on social media. It is the fastest way so that I can see it. How can I motivate myself to eat more food? It is actually a pretty good question, It might be a pretty niche question, because most of the people are trying to eat less food, but I'm also trying to eat more food. And the thing is, it is also the exact same case for me. I really tend to not act on things that I know. And I struggle with it myself. To actually gain more weight and whatsoever. And sometimes I also feel like, no, I do not want to do that, because I want to still feel athletic and whatnot, and drinking calories is a good strategy, and it has always been, which means kind of processing everything that you would be eating into a drink is a good way, so that you can actually gulp down way many calories than you would be able to. And also just, getting supplements, just having some additional drinks and whatever. There are actually some calorie drinks as well, if I remember correctly, so that you can just gain weight. They're probably not going to be healthy, to just really consider that. I'm not suggesting them. It is just an option. If you truly want to gain weight because of some reason, I don't know, might be just a thing, might be an option, might be. I'm not suggesting it. I really am not. Please don't do anything. And also just eat healthy. Try to bulk by eating healthy. Yeah, this is what I have to say. And with that being said, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and also success. And I also wish that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which basically is your legacy, Because, and the thing is, no matter how nice you are, no matter how generous you are, there's still going to be someone that just hates you because of certain reasons that I don't know. It's maybe because of them and not really because of you. 3 other questions that I hope that you're going to ask yourself are: what are you trying to change? Why are you here? And what is bothering you the most? Why you should be asking yourself these 3 questions is to figure out your purpose, your real purpose. And it is really important, to have and see and know your purpose in life. can really truly add some value to your life. And just think about it. Maybe you're going to come up with something, maybe even with a business idea, especially out of the third question. But yeah, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube video if you do not want to lose out on any valuable information. And I'll see you the next time. I at least hope. I really truly hope from the bottom of my heart. I see you the next time, because I'm just truly working on it, and it just feels amazing when I see somebody subscribing, when I see just numbers going up, which is actually the case at this point in time. It's just insane. People actually watching what I'm doing. It is insane. It's amazing. But with that being said, I'll see you the next time.